She couldn't fly away.
I don't know. What's the matter, Julie? Did you lose your little birdie?
What'd you do with her?
The one that can't fly? He might end up in a dumpster.
Hey, tough guy?
Tougher than you?
Yeah?
Stop it, Eric.
Yeah?
Don't!
Where's
Eric?
the eagle, man? Where's the hawk?
Called animal control, McGowan. The man came and he put it in a cage.
Stop it!
I bet you he's gonna kill it, and then he's gonna stuff it.
Welcome back to the Dev Show, everybody. I'm here with Michael Cavalieri you recognize him from The Next Karate Kid, and we're here a little bit today to promote his movie, What's the proper pronunciation? Because you never know with these things when you're going right into a video like this.
Devin, so it's called Ritornato, but you have to do it with an Italian accent.
Ritornato.
Perfetto, grazie, bravo.
There we go. See? So we're going to dive a little bit into that after I get the necessary Karate Kid questions out of the way, because...
here we go, karate. Of course, I love it. I'm
what I wanted to know, and I take my show a little bit differently. Excuse me. I don't prep, I don't write down notes, and I don't write down questions to ask. I just let it flow. I just let it do its own thing. So something that I was kind of wondering is just genuinely, what is it like having to talk about the Karate Kid in every single conversation you have with pretty much anybody?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. For many years, Devin, when I was trying to run away from it. What I mean by that, I was always proud that I was in this greatest franchise of all time and was part of this historic thing. But you know, I remember doing interviews, you know, after I did the movie, and I was doing like Good Morning New York and Regis and Kathy Lee, and they're like, so tell me about the action. So, well, I'm doing this new film, you know, Are you going to be the next action star? I'm like, no. I'm an actor. I want to do this film, and I'm doing this other film. So I always said, I'm trying to get away from this action, this, and the other thing. So, but now I realize many years later, you know, I had no idea that this whole scenario of this new show was going on, Cobra Kai. I had no idea what was going on. And my wife said to me, she goes, honey, don't you know about the show? I said, no. She goes, Cobra Kai, it's like the Karate Kid. I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, they're doing like a return to the Karate Kid, whatever, with these same two characters. And you should watch it. I said, oh, really? So, you know, I watched a few episodes. I laughed, I smiled, but I had no idea that people would really jump onto it and then start calling me from across the world every day, like sending me Instagram messages that I'm very grateful for, by the way. And it's fascinating that everybody has this view of certain parts of the Karate Kid and this movie and this first one and this one and that one. Everybody's like, well, this one is this. And I'm just like, guys, you know what? To be honest with you, I'm just very, very proud to have worked in the franchise. I mean, you work with an Academy Award-winning actress, one of my first jobs in Hollywood. I mean, how can you go wrong? I mean, how can you not be proud? So thinking back now and in retrospect, it's probably, I would say, one of the greatest moments in my career. What I mean by that, Devin, is that it's very difficult in Hollywood, as we know. It's a very difficult business.
Absolutely.
And I was going through a very difficult time. I lost my mother, my father. My sister was very ill, so it was a rough time. But I was out in Hollywood trying to struggle to have a career. And out of nowhere, I get this meeting. You know, and they didn't even tell me it was for the Karate Kid. They said, no, just go in, just wear a leather jacket, a T-shirt, whatever. You know, I was relatively new. I did a movie before, Book of Love, for New Line Cinema. I did another couple of TV shows and this and that, but I didn't really do anything big. So I walked into the room, and I remember, you know, Joy Todd, she was a very, very big casting director in New York, and she took a liking to me. And she's like, listen, take your jacket off. Do you work out? And I took my jacket. She goes, wow, you train? I said, yeah. She was great. She goes, come back next week at this time. I was like, okay. Still didn't know what it was. Anyway, long story short, I ended up getting the role, and I remember sitting in the at Warner Brothers at the read through. And listen, Hillary and I and the other characters, we were all relatively unknown people. Nobody knew who we were. But here I am sitting across from Mr. Miyagi, who I was like, Pat, I thought was, tremendous on Happy Days, just a funny man. And I got to be honest, the first Karate Kid movie was a very, very good movie to me. I really loved it. So I was really excited to be able to work with somebody like that. So that was really, really humbling to me. And then, so now, though these conversations with you and all these fans bring back those great feelings. And what that does for me, because, I had this tough time with the loss of my parents, and then I had this wonderful time. So when I come back to this experience of the next Karate Kid, it was a thing that helped me get over this loss, these losses of my family. So it holds a warm spot in my heart. And I'm very proud of it. And I defend it all the time. When fans say this or that, I defend it because, at the end of the day, as we all know, it's a very difficult business, and to be in anything is an achievement. So to be in something that's been going on for 30 years is pretty special. So I hope I answered your question in regards to that.
No, yeah, perfect. That's great.
Yeah, what's a great question, by the way? It's a great question.
I mean, I got people. It's hard being hosting a talk show or a what's it called, podcast or something like that, because there's thousands of people who do it, and more than thousands of people who do it. And I saw a comment on I think it was Cobra Kai Theory. I was watching your interview with him, which was fantastic. That reached a wide audience, and you got a lot of recognition from that. And somebody said that you should get into podcasting. Yeah, I don't know. I read that comment. What do you think about that? Is that anything you'd ever consider doing?
Well, I actually am going to do something shortly. Devin, for me, the excitement of talking to young guys like you, it's an unbelievable feeling for me. I love it. I have fun with it. I'm very, very, very honored to be here with you. And
thank you.
Thank you. And I think that sometimes actors think they're too important, or actors think that, well, I'm the actor and everybody, whatever. I don't feel that way. I feel very grateful that I'm able to have conversations, maybe give you a little advice, have a laugh, tell you a story that's honest. So he was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful interview. All my interviewers are great. I have some things that people have approached me with. I have another show that I'm working on to do myself. Probably do a podcast with it, but it's a lot of work. I know the podcast, so I don't know if I have the time, but people have asked me to host. Yeah, it's a lot of work. So people have asked me to host other things. So, that was funny. I read that myself. I started cracking up because I'm very energetic, very passionate about when I talk about something. But that's I hope it's a great thing that it jumps onto the other people. And it's weird because that particular interview reached thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands, maybe, 100,000, whatever people. And, I was never on Instagram before. So my wife goes, honey, get with the program. So I said, okay. So when they started to put me on, I have it under Ritornato, the movie. I don't have it under and I could tell you who I am because I didn't really have the next Karate Kid on my thing. It just said Ritornato. Now, who's going to know that I'm the guy 20 years ago from the next Karate Kid, and this is his Instagram? Nobody can find me. Nobody knows, right? So she goes, you got to put up something. Right. So as I started to promote Ritornato and I was getting to film festivals, this Cobra Kai thing started to happen. So all of a sudden I get these calls. Are you Mike? Are you the guy? Are you, one of my fans in Mexico City, Mariela, she's beautiful. She searched me out. She goes, how come you're not on Instagram? I said, I'm on soon. So that kind of engaged me into moving forward and try to participate in it. Because to me, it was a little bit crazy with this Instagram stuff. What I don't want to do, and I find myself sometimes getting caught up in it, and I don't want to, is I don't want to lose the part of me that has to be working on my creativity. And sometimes when we get caught up in this thing, this Instagram, we lose focus of what we're doing. And with the Cobra Kai, it's incredible because I spend time having a conversation with somebody. I think it's important to even if it's 2 words, even if it's 3 words, thank you so much for talking to me. It really is an honor for me to talk with you or anybody else. So if I can give any advice, or I can say a nice word, a kind word, especially if they look up to me or if they think they're a fan, I spend the time and do it. And I find myself sometimes spending an hour, sometimes trying to answer people, and it's overwhelming. But you know what? It's worth it. It's what I get back. It's incredible. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I personally
maybe we'll host a podcast together. How about that?
I'm all for it.
All right, we'll do one together. You and I will do one together. How's that?
We'll do a podcast. Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
I was watching the next Karate Kid. It was on Netflix. So I had just watched 1, 2, and 3. I'd seen 1 when I was younger, but I started watching Cobra Kai like a lot of the world has, and then it's like, oh wow, okay, so now you got to go back and watch 2 and 3, and then watching 4. I look at it online, and you look at the reviews, and you look at all that crap and stuff, and I just thought, and I looked you up because I thought that the acting in the movie from all areas, whether it's Hillary, Pat, Michael Ironside, and yourself, and there's also I don't know his name off by heart, but he's really, really big now. He played in he plays in a
Walton.
show called
Walton.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a
But
quick story after you're done, but go ahead.
Yeah. So I was just gonna say, like, that's kind of why I searched you up, and I was surprised to get a follow back, and which is really, really awesome. And I just thought, like, putting everything that everybody says aside, and like looking at the Karate Kid for as let's say a standalone movie with no prerequisites, no expectations that people have built up. It's a great film.
It really is.
It really is.
It really is. And I'm glad you said that, because look at the actors that you have in the piece.
Yeah.
Our actors are tremendous. I mean, Hillary, Pat, Michael Ironside, Walton, myself.
You did fantastic, by the way. I was truly, and I know, like, show hosts say nice things and stuff, but like, that's why I searched for your Instagram, was because I was like, holy crap, this is like next level acting. It blew me away.
Thank you, Devin. I pride myself on, and that's another thing that's very difficult with this, is that people recognize you and only think you've done that.
Mm-hmm.
But I say, even in that movie, my character is the only character in the Karate Kid franchise that's redeemed. The only one. When you look at the end of the movie, and he says to Dugan, I thought you had all the answers. And he goes, go after her. And I said, no. Go after her. No. And I defy him. So people have asked me.
Powerful.
Yeah. People have asked me, what happened with Ned? Did he follow? I said, I think Ned may have followed Miyagi. Ned may have looked to Miyagi for advice. Ned may have reconciled with Hillary and became a friend. There's so many things. And I believe the heart and soul of that character, because in the previous film, the third, I felt like, I don't know, it was a little bit, for me, I don't know. For me, number 1 and number 2 were fantastic.
Right.
I just felt like we were more rooted, I felt like as actors, and more, even though we were bullies and stuff, there was a reality to it.
Right.
And what I try to tell people is, guys, it's a movie. Yes, it's a movie, and the girl's beating me up, and I'll take it. It's a 2-time Academy Award winning actress. Right. I'll take it. Right? And Hillary was wonderful. But I think some of the scenes were really, really honest and real, and I'm very proud of that. And like you said, if it was a standalone film that didn't have to be connected in a way, even though it is, people would look at it maybe with less tainted eyes. And, I have a picture, I'll send it to you. I have a picture of me in Entertainment Weekly with Hillary, and I'm grabbing her like this. And we're going against Forrest Gump, True Lies, Clear and Present Danger. These are the movies that we were going up against in the box office.
Year.
So tremendously difficult. But what we found was that once this got to Disney, and once this got to people that, they released it in Disney, a young girl saw it, and you're like, man, it's worldwide. And now it's on Netflix. Everybody has the same response you has. I love this movie. It's great. The acting's great. You were the best villain. You were so dangerous. You were this, you were that. You're so athletic. And I find people now, it's really funny. If one person says something, 1,000 people defending it. It's really great. And I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad that you looked me up. I've done some good work in some good movies. And like I said earlier, after I did The Karate Kid, I really, really wanted to do like small independent films. So I really want to work on like character-driven stories and small art films, movies. And that's what I did for about, I guess, 6 or 7 years. And I went to many film festivals, won a lot of awards, but none of them became this big Sundance experience. They would play at Toronto, they played at Hamptons, they play Santa Barbara, but they weren't playing in Sundance, which was where all the eyes originally, when independent filmmaking, like when Tarantino started, were going to Sundance. So it's funny, people now see me and look at some of my work like, man, wow, Michael. I never showed it. I don't really show any. Now I started putting a little bit here and there on my page, like, so I've been getting a lot of calls. Will you do this for me? You're interested in doing this movie? And I support fans. I support anybody that calls me. Michael, will you help me with this? Can you help me with the script? Absolutely. Would you do a part in this movie? Send me the script. I'm ready. I want to be part of something great, because you could be the next great director and hire me. I don't know. But
I am working on a movie right now. I'll shoot you the script.
There you go,
it's
baby.
It's a horror.
I'm perfect for it. So the point is that you never know, like, in your life, where things will lead you. Now, this is 20 years ago, Devin. 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm. All
of a sudden, this comes. Meanwhile, I was working on, I had left the business for a while. I just wanted to get away. I just needed a break. And, like I said, I had lost, I had this, and I started to write. And what I found was, by writing, it opened up all new avenues for me as an artist to not only be a performer. I directed Ritornato. I wrote the screenplay, acted it. It was such an unbelievable, fulfilling experience. So by doing that, all of a sudden, the Karate Kid comes waving back in me. So now I have this two-headed monster, which is wonderful for me, because now my fans, I hope, will get a chance to see something different. Ned, or Michael in a different part.
Different light.
And see the evolution of him as an artist and appreciate that part of it. So I believe every opportunity leads to another opportunity, and you just have to keep moving forward. There was one young guy on one of the things, and he had a lot of bad things to say, right? So I thought it was fascinating, and I smiled, and I said, and I wrote back, I said, listen, I said, I respect you. I respect your opinion, but I disagree. And then he looked at me.
What was he talking about?
He was saying about Karate Kid. He's like, this thing, and I said, okay, listen, I 100% behind you, but I gotta be honest. I disagree. I respect you, but I disagree. And I don't have to give him reasons why. And then he said to me, he goes, well, I want to be honest. I think you're a great actor. He goes, but it was this, was that. I said, whatever you feel. And you know what? He calls me all the time.
Yeah.
He writes to me all the time. He goes, you're the coolest guy. You're a great actor. And you didn't take it personally. I said, no, because movies, my vision of a movie is going to be different than Devin's vision sometimes, or somebody else's. So we all have an opinion.
Yeah.
And if you're married to Cobra Kai, if you're married to Karate Kid 1, you may not, whatever. But if you're open-minded like you were and open to it, it does move you. And beyond that, we were way ahead of our time. Mm-hmm. We had a girl being an action star, taking on a guy like me, kicking my butt. She was the Me Too movement before Me Too even happened. So we're way ahead of our time. So nobody can take that away. But anyway.
Absolutely. I agree. Yeah. And so I want to talk a little bit about your film, but before I do that, I just want to talk briefly on Cobra Kai.
Mhm.
What I'm sure there was a point where you found out what they said, which was that all the movies are on the table.
The four Karate Kids, yes.
Right. So
We're in. I had to learn that, Devin, from somebody because I didn't understand it. I said to one of the guys that was interviewing me, he said, "What does canon mean?" I didn't know what that meant. You're in the canon. Like, what does that mean? So then, like you're saying, continue, but we're all in this. The four pictures are in this whatever, right? Is that what you were going to say? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so do you want to pursue that? If they ask you to go on, is that something that you want to do?
I'll do it. I would love to do it. And I'll tell you why. First of all, like I said, it would be an honor to be, again, participating in a beautiful franchise and to revisit a character that maybe has a chance to grow, has a chance for new kids to see who Ned has become or see me in a different way out of this movie into something new and maybe take a different perspective as not only he's a really, really wonderful actor, but wow, he's part of this whole experience. Do we belong there? No question. Would I do it? I would love to do it. Will it happen? I don't know. Maybe they just pick Hillary, which would be great. I would be disappointed, of course, but the history is the history. You can't take away. We are part of this. I am the main guy in this film, so that can never be taken away. So either way it works, I'm grateful, I'm blessed, and I wish them luck. It is what it is. It is what it is. And I leave it to whoever I leave it to, and then you can't get caught up in that, Devin. You got to move forward, and you got to say, hey, you know what? This didn't work for me, but maybe something else is going to work for me. It usually works like that in life. If something doesn't work, you're like, oh, wow, and then all of a sudden a door opens. I'll give you an example of Ritornato. Mm-hmm. I guess we'll start talking about that anyway. So
absolutely, yeah.
So Ritornato was something that was going on in my mind for a long time, and I was trying to deal with loss and trying to find myself. And I said to she was my fiance at the time, Maria, I said, I really want to go to Sicily. She goes, why? I said, because I was very close to my grandfather. And he died when I was maybe 12, 13 years old. But he didn't speak any English, but he always was able to express himself through like pinching my cheek, putting his hat on my head, or just smiling at me, or whatever it was, give me a little sip of wine, dipping the bread in the wine, give me a little sip of, and then with my mom, I said, I just need to go back. I need to go find myself. I need to figure out who I am. So we took a journey, and we just took a journey thinking that we would just walk, see the town, walk around, maybe catch an address, maybe see an old house. I don't know, something. Mm-hmm. And so I remember we were driving up this big hill from this really fancy resort up this hill, like about 45 minutes. We're driving up this really, really dirt hill, windy road. And the guy goes, I don't know why you want to go to Lima. I said, I go to Lima because my grandfather's Lima. He goes, yeah, but nobody goes to Lima. I said, I go to Lima. So we make our way, and he was my translator because I don't speak fluent, Vincenzo. And so we made our way into the municipal building, and he started talking. They heard my name, Alabrandi. That's my grandfather's name. And they said, who's Alabrandi? I said, I'm Alabrandi. Some lady's on the phone. She goes, un momento. Right? 3 minutes later, this guy walks in. He goes, who's Alabrandi? I said, I'm Alabrandi. He goes, come with me. I know everything. And I'm looking at this guy like he's crazy. Like, who is this guy? Never met this guy. Anyway, long story short, we go into this cafe. And I'm standing in the doorway, and I see this old man. He must have been about 85, 86 years old. He's got a cane. He's wearing glasses, and he's crying. And in my head, I'm saying, why is he crying? Like, why? He's looking right at me. He's crying. And he can't speak because he had Parkinson's, or he had some kind of disease where he wasn't able to speak. So I wouldn't understand anyway because it was the Sicilian, so I understand. Right. Anyway, we sit down at the table with this other gentleman and this older gentleman and my translator, myself, and they start talking in Sicilian. I'm trying to figure out what they're saying. And the old man and the young guy are talking to each other. They're both, and the old man's crying. This one's talking to this one. And then they start talking in English. I'm like, guys, please speak English. I don't know what's going on. Lo and behold, the man sitting to my right with the cane and the glasses was my grandfather's brother. I never knew, nobody never knew in my family that this man existed. Had
Your
no
great
idea.
uncle.
Yes. So here I am sitting in this experience with somebody who was part of, or had the blood or the genes of somebody that I loved more than my soul. And we had this wonderful afternoon. We had lunch. And at the end of the day, I said to the not the old man, but his son it was, I said, I'll return next year. And he goes, no. I said, see, I promise you. And he gives me a key. And he goes, this is your key to the house of your grandfather. Because my grandfather's house was there. They took me to the house, to the cemetery. I'm like, this is my grandfather's house. It's like this shambled, like broken down structure. But because this was Agostino's house. I'm like, no way. He gives me the key as I'm leaving. And we both like started crying. It was like, oh my God.
That's brilliant. I can't imagine how it must have been for you visiting your roots like that.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was, Devin. It was like, wow. And I really instantaneously, as soon as I got to the town, I saw the sign, Limina. I jumped out of the car and I jumped up on this big rock pylon and I put my hands on it. And that's the sign right there. Limina.
Wow.
And that's me.
Right on.
And that, yeah. So cut and paste. I went back the following year. They couldn't believe I came back, right? And I started thinking, I said, they took me to the cemetery again. I was like, I looked out the thing. I said, this has got to be a movie. So I came home and I started to write. And I wrote it. I never wrote before. I mean, I know how to write. I know how to write English, but I don't know how to write a script. But I wrote and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote. And finally, I had a guy who was very successful who said, Michael, this is, you've never written before? I said, no. He goes, this is pretty good. He goes, you need some work here and there. He goes, let me help you. So he helped me. And I got it structured. And the longer version took place in New York and then in Sicily. So I went back another time to Sicily again. And now I had the script written. And I said to myself, I said, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do it? It's too expensive. So I said to myself, I'm thinking, how do I make this into something a little bit smaller so that I can handle it? I'll pay for it. So I was at the beach, and my wife and I, we needed a Wi-Fi thing for driving. Mm-hmm. So we went into this Wi-Fi shop, and we're talking to this guy trying to figure out whatever. And I said to him, I said, do you know a cameraman, and, a cinematographer? And he goes, see, I know. So he gives me this guy's number. And then my cousin came up to me, and I totally skipped my mind, and I forgot to even call the guy. I just get lost, scrambled around, and we ended up. So I came back, and I said, I got to go back there again. So I went back one more time. Went back to the same guy at the camera shop. I said, listen, we need a Wi-Fi. Plus, give me that cinematographer's name. And he remembered me.
Oh, no way.
He gave me the guy's name. I called the guy. The guy was down the street, lived down the street. Right? Fabrizio. We got together, and I said, listen, come with me to Limina. He went up to Limina with me, and I showed him, this is what I want to shoot. This is what I see. I came home, and I restructured the screenplay to do like an hour instead of a 2-hour thing, like an hour. And I wrote to him every day. We talked every day like I'm talking to you. Like, and we talked to Don with the screenplay, this and that, the shots, got everybody together. And I saw this somebody mentioned to me, Michael, you should try for this grant. I'm like, what is it? Well, she goes, the Russo Brothers, the biggest directors in Hollywood, did the Avengers. They do this grant. So I said, okay. So I went for the grant, didn't think anything, and I was set to shoot in September. And lo and behold, I got the grant. But they said, one catch, you have to be finished shooting by September. I can't start shooting in September. So now I have to reorganize everything, and we got it done. We got the film done, and being a director, being a writer, being an actor in the film with people that don't speak your language, seeing the warmth, the love, and the passion they have for the culture, their own culture, and for me, somebody visiting you know, a Sicilian American going back to their land and how they
Mhm.
accepted me. I can't tell you how deep the relationships go now. The blood that we have together is amazing. The blood, you know, the closeness and uh, we're like family, you know. And it's like I'm actually gonna do a second part to it, and I wrote another film that's also on location there, so we'll do all those. But then, you know, we went on to win all these film festivals, and it's like, wow, you know. So is what we, you know, we track back to what the next Karate Kid is like. You know, you think this is going to be it, and then all of a sudden this opens up, and this Ritornato opens me up to meeting all these other people, and together, you know, I try to position it so that people can see it. And it's not for everyone. It's not a film that's an action film. It's just a really, really heartfelt story about me, about a story about a guy who goes and makes a promise to his mom that he will put her ashes on the grave of her father, and that's it. And you know, he makes the journey, and you know, it's a heartfelt film. It's very passionate and very minimal money, but we did it.
Right.
So you know, I'm very proud of it, and a lot of Sicilians. I know there's a lot of Italians in your area. Sicilians
Yes,
in
there are
I
very,
know.
very most of the population of Niagara Falls is Italian, and the mayor
There's a big
is
theater there, by the way. I mean, there's a big theater I think in Buffalo. I spoke to the guy. They wanted to show my film, a really, really old, beautiful theater in Buffalo that they wanted to show the film. But then we got the pandemic and things. But we are going to do a virtual screening of Ritornato. So I want you to tell all the people to visit me at Ritornato, the movie, and also let them know, you know, that it's a Sicilian film shot entirely on location, and put the word out, because I'd love to invite everybody. We're going to do like a virtual screening. Come to my website and we'll do a one-night screening of it. It's going to be really, really cool. And it's
right.
something that's very prideful. A lot of people that are from any immigrant, but, you know, obviously it's about Italian and Sicilian, they really respond to it. Now, some people don't get it because they never went through struggle. They never went through anything. But for somebody to come back to a place where there's only 600-700 people up in the mountains, to go back and pay respects there, the people in Lehman are just very special. And I have a very special bond with them. I was just named town ambassador for Limina.
That's good. How crazy is that?
Yeah, it
You
was.
probably
I
never
couldn't
thought,
believe.
like, that's not
No.
something you'd ever think.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny because I sponsored the soccer team. You know, I did. You know, out of the blue, they're like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, I'll sponsor you guys." Bought them jerseys, whatever. Then I did the town ambassador, and then you know, I'm also on the board of this beautiful, beautiful culture museum called Splendid Sicily. All things about Sicily and history and music and art. So you get sent into, like, once you open this door, you walk into this new world that you never knew existed before.
Mhm.
And now with this, it's starting to other stuff for me. So it's been really, really a fascinating time. So I think the Karate Kid, the next Karate Kid, Ritornato, really opened a lot of new doors for me, and meeting guys like you who've helped me and talked to me and take the time. You know,
Absolutely.
it's an honor. It's really, really grateful that you'll do this with me. So I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. And I like you said, I usually give you the floor at the end of the interview to just kind of promote stuff, but you already said it, and
Yeah.
I just want to second it, you know. So we can find you on Instagram, right? You're just talking
Yeah.
about the movie underscore.
At Ritornato, say it again. How do you say it?
Ritornato. Oh, yeah.
You gotta do
Ritornato.
this. Ritornato.
Ritornato.
Yeah,
Perfect.
so at Ritornato _ the movie.
Perfect. Right on. And I really, yeah, like I said, I appreciate you coming on, and I'm gonna post this to YouTube and whatnot, and should be good.
Is there any questions that you need me to answer for you?
Oh yeah. You know what I was forgetting? On my Instagram, I got
Let's
a couple
answer some
questions.
Sure.
I got a couple questions. There's two that stood out to me that I want to ask you about, and one was, how old were you when you got the role of the next Karate Kid? How old?
18.
18. Right on.
I
And
saw
then-
that question. Somebody else asked me that question somewhere else.
Right. And then why did you okay? Something so like the questions from the fans are just like you can't really like have a solid answer to them. But why did you have to destroy his car?
You know what's funny? Somebody asked me that yesterday. They said to me, he said, from Brazil, wonderful young man. He goes, "Did you really blow up that car?
Yeah.
Did you really, you know, we really didn't blow up the car, but in the movie we blew up the car. But you know, I thought that might have been a little bit over the top. But I guess you have to do something dramatic at the end just to make an experience and the docs and. But this is what the movies do. They're very dramatic and over the top, right? So I don't know. Why did I blow up that car? I'm really sure. That wasn't him. I thought me fighting him was enough.
Yeah, he had it so hard, man. When the windows got smashed, you know, I was just like, damn, like this.
But wouldn't that have been enough? Just the window smash and maybe getting into it at the docks would have been great. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But I mean,
I thought, yeah.
Coach was just on another level of.
Yeah, he was like. He's a character, Michael. He's from Canada too, isn't he? He's Michael's a wonderful actor. I have a story with Michael. Michael, when I first met him, you know, he had been in many, many, many things, obviously. And I was this new kid, and I was coming to the set, and I was his protege, working with him. And I remember he was like kind of testing me to see if I could hit my mark and say the words at the same time. And
right.
So we did like the first take, the second take. He goes, pretty good. So we were off, and I have a lot of respect for Michael. Michael's a great actor, and I hope that we come back together, maybe on the same team or maybe not.
Right on.
I don't know. All the actors. Chris was great. I felt bad for Chris Conrad. You know, he had a tough time getting beat up. And it's funny, I have a story about Chris too. We kind of, it was a little bit of a uncomfortable scenario because, you know, you're doing stunts and sometimes your energy can be a little bit more than you want it to be. You're all adrenaline is going. And so there was a lot of people pecking at him and pulling him and punching him, you know, like, and maybe they're not hitting him, but still it's a little bit annoying. You know, I can understand. So it was a little testy at times. And I saw Chris maybe 10 years later in Florida. And I was with my friend, and we were eating at a restaurant or a bar, I forget. And I look and I see him. I say, "Chris, what are you doing?" He goes, "Michael!" Big hug. We laughed for a little bit. It was so wonderful because, you know, we left, not that we were ever not, you know, enemies, but you're working, it's very, very tense. And especially with stunts, but he was great. He was really great. A good looking guy. Great job. And you know, Mr. Miyagi was really special. I have one story I'll tell you that we had to reshoot the end of the movie, Devin, to match something. They didn't like what we had. So I remember we came back a few months later, and we all had haircuts. We had to fix our hair. It was a funny thing. And but I was doing this scene at the end where I tell Dugan, no more. And then I started to like tear up, you know, and continue the scene. It was like a vulnerable moment for Ned, and you know, after they said cut, Mr. Miyagi walked over to me, goes, "Kid," and he grabbed me, he goes, "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. It's great." I was like, wow, such a nice compliment, so supportive, and I get a lot of compliments on that nuance in the performance, because there's such danger in this character and there's a little vulnerability at the end. And it's very hard in those characters, as you know, they play these cartoonish things, and it's very difficult sometimes to find that moment, be able to find that one moment in the film where he could be saying, I don't want to do this anymore. There's a little change in me. I made a mistake to follow this guy. Yeah. Ned was a wayward kid. He was lost. He had an abusive father. He just was trying to find somebody, and he ended up with this Dugan guy. So I think at the end, when you see that little vulnerability, it's really, 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 it's a really cool nuance for the character. So let's see what happens.
For sure. Right on. Yeah. I mean, I personally would like to see your character return. I've seen some theories, different.
What's your
different
theory,
theories
Dev? Give me your theory
Oh,
on why. Come on.
I read the one. Okay, there was one that I agreed with, and it was Hillary and oh, sorry, Hillary. Yeah, well, it was Hillary and Ralph, who plays Daniel, meeting at Miyagi's funeral, because why wouldn't they both be there? And I think that there's a pre-existing relationship with Hillary's character that we don't know about, and then if she ends up coming into Cobra Kai, there's no reason to me that they wouldn't do flashbacks like they did for the previous movies 1, 2, and 3. So if there's flashbacks, I think that would be able to explain a little bit of your character, and then then I don't know, and then maybe we can see you return with Hillary. I don't know if it's a stretch to say you guys are together, but I mean, I think people would like to see that she ended up with I can't remember the character name off the top of my head. Eric, yeah.
Right.
But that's the way I think that if she's introduced, or if that movie is incorporated, that it can be introduced that way through flashbacks. And I think that you'll get a little bit of screen time at least, even if it's not new footage. You have to explain her story somehow, right?
I think yeah, many people have said that to me. I think that I had this that was one of the really cool things that I heard. Same thing. And also, like, they meet, or everybody that's ever been in the universe are at this funeral, and they interconnect.
Because like you said, there could be a relationship built between Ned and Miyagi that isn't seen either. Like, there's a lot of time that has passed between the fourth movie and Cobra Kai. There's endless opportunities, and the guys who make Cobra Kai are such huge fans that I see no reason why they wouldn't incorporate it. I think they will. And they said that it's going to go for more seasons too, more than just 4, 5, or 6. Or they said they want to keep going. So they're eventually they're gonna need content, and they're gonna want.
There was also a thought that somebody said to me that I thought was fascinating, was that she comes back and then I come back because I was a protege of Miyagi. I learned from him, and then I come back with her, not even with her, but on my own, to help her and Ralph and Johnny against this other crew. There was somebody through, like, or help the students learn, because whatever. So there's so many theories. That could happen, but whatever it is, I just want to say how grateful I am you took your time to spend with me today. I'm privileged and honored to have kids like you behind me, supporting me, and I'm glad you enjoyed the movie, and I'm really grateful, man. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm grateful. Like, I write batches and batches of emails out, and you get 1 or 2 responses and whatnot. But one thing that just popped in my head, last thing I'm going to ask.
Sure. You can ask me whatever you want. You don't have to stop. And you edit whatever you wish.
Do you think that Daniel is the bully?
Oh, somebody, there was something going around with that, right? Or some scenario where he was a bully. I'm not exactly sure why they said that. Could you explain it to me, and I can give you my answer?
I'm not the best one to explain it, but there's a video on YouTube explaining it.
I got to look at that.
Yeah, but, just basically how he tormented Johnny Lawrence. He poured water on his head when he did absolutely nothing to him, and Johnny Lawrence basically tried to avoid everything that he could with Daniel until Daniel does something to tick him off, like talk to his girlfriend, or pour water on his head, or come up to him and make fun of him in the schoolyard. Like, well,
couldn't that be said for Ned and Julie too? Or Ned and you could change it's all about perception, and it could quite possibly be, you're right, that Daniel's the bully. It could be, if you look at it from right. It's always a way to. It's another way to look at stuff, which is a good way to look at it, because then you can create a whole nother dynamic. And I got to think about that, you know, because I saw that. I didn't watch the video, but I need to watch it.
I'll send it to you.
Here's my question.
Shoot.
Who are you most afraid of?
Who am I most afraid of?
As
Are
in
we
all
talking Karate Kid or what?
yeah, in all the villains and all the characters in the villains.
I'd say it's a mix between I'd say it's a three-way tie, and that would be your character, just because the lengths that your character goes to in the movies. What's his name? The guy from the second movie, the one that the one that comes with Terry Silver to fight him. That guy is pretty freaky. And Coach.
He's crazy.
Probably.
I think
Yeah.
I would say us two are I would agree. I think us two are we're the most dangerous duo, I think.
When
I
you
think
went and
so.
took the bird, I was just like, that's like,
That's not nice. That's not. I deserve to get my butt kicked by a girl, right? I really do. People ask me, Devin. People ask me that question all the time. Michael, so how does it feel to get your butt kicked by a girl? And what would my answer be now that we've talked? What do you think I would
deserving?
say?
Well
Right.
deserved.
Well deserved, and also listen. It's what I always say. It's well deserved, and if I'm going to get my butt kicked by a girl, it's going to be a 2-time Academy Award-winning actress, and I'm going to get paid a lot of money for it. So I'll do whatever you ask, and I'll make it look
Right.
good. And
For
that's
sure.
that.
And you did just
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. But anyway, what a pleasure for me, my man.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna piece it together, and it should be good. I love doing this sort of thing. I stopped doing interviews for a month. Got really dissuaded with just looking at all the other people who are doing interviews and seeing how they do things, and just kind of questioning if it's really the thing that I want to do or whatnot. But doing this today is nice, and I'm also just confirmed. This is going to be out probably by the time I interview him. I have an interview next week with Ed Asner. If you
Great. That's amazing.
I know.
You see, you can do this. You can do it. You know what? You have a great disposition. You're very, very cheerful, and it's important in an interview to be inviting so people want to talk. So
Yeah.
I suggest you continue to do this because you do a great job.
Thank you.
And don't let it's what I was trying to say to you before. Like we you get caught up from other people's distractions and what other people are doing, and it's something that I really focus on. It really just put the blinders on and focus on what you do, what you're doing, because what you're doing is great. So when you start thinking about everybody else, you get, oh, why is he doing that? And he's doing this. You can't do that. You'll never be successful. Focus on you. There's an interest. There's something special about you, Devin, and you got to use that to your advantage. Everybody has something different. You know what I mean? You have a good way. You're very much like the guy, my friend from Cobra Kai Theory. He's a wonderful young man. He's from Canada as well.
Oh, no way. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a great kid. He's very, very, very easy to talk to, and that's something that's important. And my friend Zaya, who does Movie Junk, you guys are very nice to talk to and easy to talk to, and it's important for us to speak on an interview with somebody who listens and is very easy to talk to. So do what you're doing. You're doing a great job. And good luck with Ed Asner.
Yeah, thank you, man. I'm writing the question list out for him because I have I don't want to mess that one up. He's 91 years old now, and it's gonna be good. But yeah, like I said, thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, buddy boy. Thank you so much. We'll be in touch, okay?
All right, for sure. Cheers.
Thanks, Dan. See you, buddy.